Twiggy Sticks.
Some Twiggy Sticks. Or snacking sticks if you're American.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Chris and Jordi here. I nearly pointed at me when I said Jordi.
You can be Jordi, I know you want to be.
Yeah, I know, I did, yeah, exactly. We're producing meals for the Huntsman Season 3, and what better thing to cook, I think, than some Twiggy Sticks.
Some Twiggy Sticks.
Some Twiggy
Or snacking sticks if you're American. It's going to be a pork and venison one.
Yep.
And we're making them now because, you know, when the guys go out hunting for the day, a couple in vac sealed in everyone's bags, they've got a quick snack to go with them and just a perfect way to use your venison at home. I got these ones from the Artisan Bodega, guys. Okay. A couple of flavors, pepperoni, cracked black pepper. But the amount of people that ask me, how do you make a Twiggy stick? We thought we might as well try and get it
Make
done.
a video.
So we're going to go venison and pork belly along with our seasonings. These things are so easy, guys. They come with the casings. They come with both the cures. All you got to do is mince up your meat, mix it together, leave it in the fridge overnight to cure, stuff them into your sausage casings, cook them in the oven or the smoker.
And in terms of cooking appliances that we'll be using during this video, we have Carnivore Collective mincer. We've got a Carnivore Collective.
We're going to be using the mixer to emulsify that meat,
which you haven't seen before, but was really good. And then also the sausage stuffer.
That's a cracking block. That's my favorite one. It's electric. We'll be using the manual feature of it today just for a bit more control.
Yeah.
But it's also got a foot pedal on it. We'll be using that when we do our sausage sizzle day sort of thing. Yep, that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah, sausage sizzle day, cool.
We're working on about a total of 5 kilograms.
Okay.
So a quarter of that is 1.25 kilos.
Don't ever do that to me, Jordi. You look at me and I'm like,
I've taken some fatty pork belly, 1.25 kilo, funny enough, skinned it, kept the fat on, kept it in lovely long things so it gets into the mincer really well, nice and cold. Our first step will be to get this mince and then mix it with our venison mince, get our cure in, re-mince it on a finer setting, and then we'll put it into the mixer to make sure it's emulsified, and we're going to add some ice water.
I was going to ask if you were going to cut it up, but you're just going to leave it whole so it grips it.
Yep. Nice long strips is often easier for the machine to grind to move through the worm.
Yeah. As long as it's like not so fat that it won't fit through the hole.
Exactly.
Whoa, that's got some force on it.
People say use straight pork fat. It's hard to get unless you go into the butcher, where you can get yourself a slab of pork belly, supermarket, anyway. So that's often what I use, and I feel like it gives a really nice end product. So get that into here.
Into here, and we're going to do it all at once.
Yep, we're going to put it back through, and we're also going to add our seasonings in at this stage.
Also, I will show you this, guys. When it comes to, no, I wanted that on there.
Oh.
We're still, no, what, you can't put it. When you are using a mixer like this, it's not so much an issue when you're dealing with fat, because fat will obviously tear quite easily and melt as it's being run through the mixer. But when you're dealing with like bits of venison or anything that's got a bit of sinew, that sinew sometimes gets wrapped in your worm, and that can just as easily blow up your mincer as to other things. So basically, once you've done a big mincing job, if you find it struggling, just pull out your worm, and you'll often find all that sinew stuck around here, around the worm.
Just behind that blade.
Just behind the blade, literally, it'll all be wrapped around the blade, and simply just removing your blade, and then getting it all off, putting it back on, and it will run perfectly fine again. So
easy, that's a good tip. So going on with a smaller disc now. So we started off with the biggest one, going to move to the smallest one. But what we're going to do is, before we re-mince this, we're going to put our cure through our meat. So that just helps adding that it's going to mix it through as it gets re-minced. We're going to get the cream cure, which is this one. So this is the curing salt. We want 5 tablespoons for 6 tablespoons of the dark seasoning, and 4 teaspoons as well, because that's how the Imperial converted. 4, 5, 1, 2.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's gonna have extra flavor in it. Give it a quick mix first. Yeah.
Do you want me to use my hands?
As long as they're clean. They're always clean.
Just a rough mince.
Yeah, exactly. Basically all you're doing is you're pushing the seasoning into the meat so it's not going to fall off. Now we'll get this through our mincer with the fine plate. You know, we go through mincing so often, guys, in terms of these videos. It really is such a versatile piece of equipment, getting a decent mincer.
If you're a hunter and you don't have a mincer, you're not really a hunter.
That's a bit rough.
Let me say this. If you're a harvester, if you're someone who hunts for meat and you don't have a mincer, you're really missing a core bit of equipment that
could make it like not only
yeah.
so much easier, but your harvest so much more efficient. Hi guys, this is Chris.
Finish the mincing.
Yep, mince it second time, seasonings in it. But what we've got to do is to mix it with some ice water. And that all these instructions are on the packet, guys, but what this is basically doing in terms of the chemistry is just adding to that emulsification process.
So what we've got here to help us with that emulsification process is a mixer from Carnivore Collective. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the horsepower of the mincer to power the mixer. So this is like a 2-for-1 kind of combination. So both of these are available via Carnivore Collective's website. I encourage you to check it out. Again, there is a discount that you can get, which is quite a generous, I mean, it's 5%, but it's quite a generous discount when you look at the cost of these units. All we're gonna do is, there's these little kind of like adjustment legs on it that you can get up to the right size.
Where your hopper and mixer would be, it literally just slides on.
Yeah.
And then you just got to make sure that it's right the way in so that the cogs are together.
Yeah.
Tighten it up like you would normally. Now what that does is, and we'll show you from the top, there's an auger in this, like a grain auger in it. And that's where you dump all your meat in with the lid on, you flick it on, and it does all the mixing for you.
Just the mixing.
This will be perfect for salami. Do you know that long, tedious process of making sure you get the sticky salami? Yeah, this will do it for you. It's on an axle as well. So once your meat's all mixed and you want to dump it back into your bowl or something like that, you're not having to put your hands in and out. So for our 4 kilos of meat, what we need is 2 1/4 cups of ice water.
Yeah.
So that's like 500 mils plus a bit. So this is a 600 ml bottle. It's perfect service here. Turn that on, and we're just gonna pop our lid on, and then we'll let that go for 5 minutes.
So what it's doing, you can see, I'll show you the footage, it's actually kind of grabbing it and pulling it both ways. So it's not just moving it all to one side and then like squeezing underneath, it's actually kind of like massaging it. So that's what it looks like now. And I'm gonna try not to get myself...
Let go for a sec.
Cut.
This is what I do.
Oh, turn it on,
Yeah, I usually just run it and then sometimes it just falls out.
Yeah.
This is the biggest sausage stuffer from Carnivore Collective. It's also the electric one as well. So what it has the attachments up here that you can fit the electronic controls on the side, which also come with a foot pedal.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep talking this whole series about equipment that makes your life easier.
Yeah.
This is like the nuts of sausage stuffers. But if you're going to be making 500 sausages at a time or whatever you're making on your own, this is what you need. We start with the obvious. We'll get the hopper filled up, and then we'll get our casings, and we'll talk about our casings. So we'll get our meat, making sure that it's getting in there, and we're pushing it down because we don't want any air bubbles.
You chuck them back in here.
So with our largest sausage stuffer, it comes with 4 attachments. We've got on the smallest one possible here. Well, I'm gonna have to touch it because I've got to grease it.
Okay.
So we've got our skinniest sausage attachment on here. I'm not too sure of the mill, guys, but it is out of the 4, it's the smallest one, all right? Just to help with our casing that we're gonna add, we're just gonna add a bit of spray oil on it. What that does is
Bit of WD-40.
basically, it just allows it to slip on.
But it's not, don't put WD-40 on, it's not WD-40.
These are the casings that come in the kit. These are synthetic casing. Just cut one end and slip it onto the tube. And then we're gonna fill it up with as much as we can on the pipe. We'll keep about 2 inches off the end, and we'll start cranking our meat so that it comes right to the edge, and then I'm gonna tie it. And that's
Why wouldn't you tie it beforehand?
because then the pressure of the meat to a tied knot is gonna have a large bit of
Bubble.
air.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna try and push all the air from the pipe out first while the end of this case is out of the way.
Whoa.
Beautiful.
Keep going.
No, just hold it for a sec because I want to tie the end of this. So basically all I'm doing is I'm just pulling a bit of the mixture out so that I can create a knot in the end. It's nothing fancy, it's just an overhand knot. All right, now we are good to go. With this hand, I'm using pressure to slow the casing coming off the nozzle, and that's how you determine how filled your casing is. So the more tension you put on this, it's going to fill the casing more. We don't want them super filled so much that they're going to pop, because like we were talking about with the binder, it's going to expand a bit, and also we need to leave a bit of room because we want to twist these into Twiggy shapes.
In this situation, we could use the pedal to automatically run this process and then just
Remove Chris from it.
remove me entirely, remove the margin of error. Imagine like you're on a sewing machine and you've got your foot down and you're kind of controlling the speed simply by pushing the pedal down.
There, pull the pressure off.
Oh yeah. Because it's under pressure, if you stop, it will continue to feed until that pressure dissipates. So to dissipate the pressure yourself, you basically wind back and that will automatically stop it. So we've got about a metre and a half.
Metre and a half, I'd say, yeah. But, you know, that's number one. Then you just keep going.
We've gone and piped all of our Twiggy sticks. It's a lot of Twiggy, probably 20 or 30 metres of Twiggy sticks. So now we're going to, before we hang them in the fridge overnight, we're just going to twist them.
Choose the length of your Twiggy.
Yeah.
Okay. Pinch, twist. Okay.
Yeah. In one direction, so forward or backwards. Same length.
Pinch, same length.
Opposite direction
Opposite
twist.
direction, because then it's twisting both. Third length, pinch and twist.
Okay.
Now you've got your 3. Okay. Now, excluding number 1, because you've got to start it differently, you put 2 and 3 are in half, and the joins are all together, and you just twist it all.
Okay.
So it's the joins that are holding it together.
Yeah.
The twists around.
Okay.
Now, that will be your bottom sausage. 4 is going to come up between 2 and 3.
Underneath.
Through the middle of the 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And as you pop that over, now that bottom one's locked in.
Okay.
Okay?
And then you're going to twist again.
And you're going to twist, and that is locking up at the top. Okay, so if we're going to go number 1,
Okay.
twist.
Yeah. So we're starting again.
Yeah. We'll go number 2, twist.
Yeah.
And we'll go number 3, twist. Now this is where I say it's different. So we're not doing 2 and 3, we're doing 1 and 2.
Yeah.
3 up through the middle, pop bottom over, holds it in place, twist at the top. We got your next length section of 3.
They're all done now. So next step is to chuck them into the, did you say freezer or fridge?
Fridge. So we gotta let the cure work its magic.
Yep.
24 hours in the fridge overnight, and cover them up so they don't dry out. So we'll glad wrap this, and then we'll get them into the smoker tomorrow.
To smoke your Twiggy chains, set your smoker to 95 degrees Celsius and let them cook for about 2 hours or until the internal temperature hits 74 degrees Celsius. Once you're done, they're ready to eat, or you can bag them up and freeze them for later, which is exactly what we did. In fact, we took a few cheeky Twiggy sticks along to a recent tree stand hunt before season 3. So if you want to see them in action, I'll drop a link to that video below, as well as a link to our wild game cooking YouTube playlist, which may also be of interest to you. Now, if you've got any questions at all, drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to use that Carnivore Collective discount for all your meat processing gear, casings, spices, and rubs. Till next time, happy cooking.